we fade in an alleyway, sirens and heavy rain. The sky tinted a faint yellow as Desmond, you open your eyes, the rain hitting you in the face. You're lying flat on your back, looking up. You sit up, and your only company, an Agent Renko, who is sat also with his back against the wall. He has a bullet wound in his shoulder that he is currently attempting to patch up. Rifle, his AK-12 lies slung to the side, the stock broken. His fatigues are pockmarked with scrapes from near misses, small arms fire. And as he continues to bandage the wound up, he looks across to you as he notices you sort of rousing from unconsciousness.
Oh, you're awake. Oh, fuck.
Oh. Yeah, I think I am awake. Renko, what the fuck happened? Where is everyone?
I was at the Xville. Oh, and I think your former bosses decided to pay a visit. I saw gas. A bunch of you collapsed. They threw you into the back of trucks. It was just me, man.
You're bullshitting me.
No,
They didn't throw us into the back of trucks because I'm still here.
Well, I T-boned one of them, and you were the lucky one, I guess. The others got away.
Why? Why the fuck am I the lucky one? Okay, you're hurt. I will rush over to assist. I have a 40 in first aid if that would be more helpful.
It's higher than his, but he is also attempting. So I will, because you're doing it together, I will give you a 20% buffer.
So as I'm rushing over to him, do I still have all my armor and crazy shit on, like the riot shield and that?
No, it's all been you're just in the clothes that you had, but the rest of it's been stripped from you.
So I assume all my gear's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna move over to him. First instinct, I'm ripping off part of my shirt. I don't give a shit about it. And as I'm walking over to him, Renko, I know you're not stupid, so stop trying to do work on yourself.
Okay, well, I have...
And he pulls, like, the single first aid kit he has left. So you can use that. And, yeah, you can make a first aid roll if you want to do that.
You said it with a 20% buffer?
Yes, because he's already done some of the work.
No.
What did you roll?
An 82. It's not a crit.
Okay. You fumble. The rain soaks the bandages through. It appeared Renko had got as far as cleaning the wound, but when you try to bandage, just nothing sticks. The bandages continue to fall off. The wound remains exposed.
We can't bandage you in the rain. We have to move somewhere. And I'm just going to scan my immediate environment. I'm particularly looking for Eliza. I don't believe that they've been taken and I've somehow, through an act of whatever the fuck runs this universe, been left alone.
No. There's nothing in the alley except broken glass and disappointment.
I'm already kneeling over Renko, and I will hold my arm out to him. You're gonna need some more serious help. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man, you've been in a gunfight, and an accident all at once.
Well, I mean, you should see the other guys. Oh, fuck.
Renko, listen. And I'm gonna start, like, trying to lift him over my shoulder and lift him to his feet.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a big boy. Come on. I've seen you take out the same man 6 times in a row just because he was pissing you off. So let's go. I'm going to get you to a hospital. I'm a wanted man. I cannot.
No need. I already made plans for new safe house. Burn the old one. There's medical equipment there. We'll be fine.
Desmond gives him a kiss on the cheek. You, Renko, I can't believe that the SVA actually managed to pick you up. Because god damn it, we could have used you in Delta Green.
After the way I've seen them treat you, no thanks.
We'll start a new company. Whatever it takes. We have to find Kane and Eliza. They still have things to live for, Renko.
Alright, well, first we lie low.
And he gestures around, and you see like the yellow. You're not that far away from. You can't be that far away from the Prudential building because you can still see that tint of yellow from the fireworks and the flares and the devices that you set off, and also just sirens. There are cop cars everywhere. Renko turns to a shutter behind him and just pulls the thing up, and it goes up on the chain. There is a beaten up station wagon inside, totally nondescript.
You drive?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got my license revoked by default, but I didn't take any hits during that, just to my goddamn psyche. But we've got something to do, so you've got a shotgun.
You pile in to what can only be described as a piece of shit on wheels, and Renko gives you directions to the safe house. It's a apartment building about an hour from the Prudential, and he drags you inside, and over the next few days turn to weeks that turn to months. You lay low, you burn every asset that you have, you tap every resource to try and find out where Kane and Eliza have been taken, to no good response until you get a envelope 9 months later on the door. Someone's taped it to your front door. It's an address in rural Pennsylvania, in what appears to be the middle of nowhere. There are some accompanying screen grabs from GPS, a certain very famous online map resource showing you the location.
Frugal.
Yeah. Simply signed, he'll have everything you need. Best of luck. Signed, S.A.
I assume Renko is still with me?
Yes.
So... Renko. You up?
Yeah.
And he turns, just done making a pot of coffee, pours it and hands it to you.
Yeah, you should, go ahead, put a second one on.
What? And he gestures to the document you have in your hand.
Well, somebody found us. And I hand the papers to him as I continue. It looks like somebody named S.A., being the initials, wants us to just come to an address in the middle of fucking nowhere in Pennsylvania. I've got just some low-quality GPS snippets. Says he'll have everything you need. Best of luck. If I cared for my life anymore, I would say that this is a trap and we're going to die, but if I'm honest with you, Renko, I'm pretty fucking tired of sitting in a storage locker. And I think that if this is perhaps a chance to save people who are better than us, we should go do it.
Well, sitting around here isn't getting anything done, I suppose. Why not? Where, Pennsylvania? This is in the middle of fucking nowhere, man.
Shit, it's practically nowhere with a capital N, I mean. Who cares, though? Who fucking cares? I mean, if I go out in the middle of Pennsylvania and get myself shot against a brick wall, at least I don't have to deal with the guilt anymore. I grab the set of keys off the really shitty screw that they're hanging on.
Well, road trip, I guess.
Yeah, I think by default, since you're in passenger, you have to pick the tunes.
Alright.
Within a short period of time, you're able to muster a fire team, several fire teams as a matter of fact, and raid the facility. For those that are just listening to us for the first time, these events were documented in our prologue episode. The decision to leave Desmond out of the strike team was agreed upon by all. So we jump now to the recovery, as you stand with Kane and Eliza and Remy, and he sits there somewhat slack-jawed. There's a glazed over look in his eyes. He's not functioning. The artifact that you just used in conjunction with the statue's lantern to scramble the programs mental programming was apparently successful with both Eliza and Kane. And whilst Eliza and Kane are clearly, although a little discombobulated, they're cognizant of their surroundings, Remy is not. He simply stares almost slack-jawed off towards the New York horizon. You head down the spiral staircase that descends down from the torch, and down into the the podium that the statue stands on. Is a huge building in its own right, and inside there are armed guards everywhere. There are people at desks research assistants, and there's a room that's been like a little porter sort of office has been established in the corner where there's a bunch of scientist looking people. And halfway through a game of darts with one of the guards is one Mr. Desmond Vickleston.
Fuck you, man. What are these rules? I feel like you're making them up.
Holy hell, you look like shit.
Hello?
Come here, you chubby fuck. Let me hug you.
Desmond takes a shaky step forward, and he doesn't say anything, but his hand almost like he's in a dream. He reaches out and just touches Kane's face.
I'm gonna slightly move it up. Are you trying to caress me like a cat right now?
Holy shit, you're real. And then he comes in for the hug.
Okay. Oh, hey, bud. Hey, long time no. Let me tell you about the worst nightmare I just had.
Can I have a hug too?
It cannot be worse than what's going on in the real world.
I was married to Eliza.
My bad. I shouldn't have assumed. Shit's bad out here too, though. It's just gotten worse. The sign has been up the whole time. We made hell on Earth.
Yeah, I remember that part. The drive back. I don't know. It really has gone to hell, hasn't it?
That's when you hear a big belly laugh from just over.
You bitch!
And Renko comes strolling over.
And then that's when Russian
Renko's the one who
Superman
saved me. Yeah.
arrived.
Renko jumped off a roof with me. Hey! Can I give Renko a hug? Renko, can I give you a hug?
If you must. Glad to see you're all still kicking.
Been 9 months.
Barely.
I just got back from a scouting party into Manhattan. It's fucking crazy out there. People setting fire to shit and attacking their own relatives. I saw a cab driver put his camp through the front of some department store in Times Square.
Oddly enough, none of that surprises me for normal Manhattan. I'm assuming you mean this in the context of it's not being normal, but you got to keep in mind New Yorkers are feral.
He means in the context of all of that happened within 2 hours. And I have no idea how you managed to stay so... I mean, I'll say it seems like you stay on top of things somehow. You're a crazy motherfucker. And I'll just bring him and Eliza into a hug. It's so good to have you back.
Nice to see you again, bud.
Definitely good to be back in the real world.
Oh, what? You didn't like being married to me?
I asked for a divorce as soon as we left, and I didn't even have my mind back.
That is rough, Kane. Wow.
Well, you won't divorce the husband that cheated on you. Okay, I see how it is.
Wow.
I didn't really have time before the world fell apart. You know what? In all honesty, it wasn't that bad, and I'm just giving you a hard time.
You spend the next hour or so just gearing up for the purposes of going forward. You'll have the same gear, much as I've mentioned to Jacob earlier on. All your characters have the same gear that you've had for much of this campaign. And you head out as a group, and Renko, and you board the ferry back to the mainland. About 20 to 25 minutes later, the ferry docks in Battery Park. There appears to be some sort of camp set up there. There's a perimeter around Battery Park, but beyond that, Manhattan awaits you. You can see across the New York skyline as the ferry itself comes in, plumes of smoke, fires, the sounds of gunfire coming from Manhattan itself as you prepare to make the journey uptown. We fade back in on Battery Park. Mid-afternoon, although you wouldn't know it anymore because the sky has been the same shade of dark yellow for almost a year now. The various plumes of smoke that rise up from central Manhattan and beyond are the only disruption in the yellow skyline. And as the four of you, with Agent Renko in tow, disembark from the ferry and head into the forward operating post that the Outlaws have set up in Battery Park itself to get geared up. Let me see here. Corporal Kane. You're all strolling through Battery Park itself, and you hear horns off in the distance to your left hand side, and you turn, look out beyond the park and across the stretch of water and into the bay, past the statue, and just off in the distance, almost nestled amongst clouds that roll on the horizon, a city. The outlines of the buildings, Baroque architecture, like nothing you've ever seen, or rather nothing from this time period. Remind you more of perhaps the cities from the Ottoman Empire or Constantinople before it fell. And you blink a second, stare out, and it's gone. No clouds, no strange city skyline, just more yellow. And the feeling that the place that you just saw is where this ends. Something across the water in that city that you've seemingly conjured from your imagination is the answer to all of your questions. And you continue to stare until you see a hand in front of your face. Just...
Hey!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I thought I saw something, keeping 360 around us. It's something.
Alright, man, focus, because believe me, I've been on a few recce's into Manhattan itself with some of these outlaw guys, and it's fucking crazy in there, man. Just don't let your guard down.
Hey, listen, I've been in almost the entire portion of the Middle East. I know how to keep my eyes up.
We're gonna need your help here more than ever, then.
Just... Did you hear horns? Like, not car horns, but like...
No. You okay, man? You ears ringing, or?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. Let's keep going. You're right. Focus on one thing at a time.
You begin to get equipped. Your varied specifications, and a quartermaster can hear him yelling to a young lad who is hurriedly bringing the gear to each of you one by one. The sentries at the gates call for them to be opened as you all step out, weapons in hand, and you begin the walk up Wall Street. The streets are quiet. There is trash, rubbish everywhere, lined with abandoned cars, taxis, a couple of trucks, and I get everyone to make a alertness roll for me, please. I shall be making one for Agent Renko. Okay. Those of you that passed, you see in the buildings to both your left and right, there is movement. But these aren't people trying to hide themselves. You see people in office wear, you see people just in civilian clothes, and lots of them are huddled together. The clear expressions of fear across their faces as they take refuge in the buildings that surround you. They don't look hostile, but they look afraid. You push forward through the eerily quiet streets. If any of you have ever walked these streets at around 1-2 a.m, it's a similar feeling. And a good 45 minutes passes without incident as you, now in central Manhattan, come into Times Square itself. And the carnage here is worse than anywhere you've seen it so far. It would be logical. You hear voices in the buildings as you pass by.
You know, first time I came to Times Square was... Shit, it was just after 9/11, man. I volunteered.
Shit, man, really?
Well, SV8 had me stationed here, and I was new at the time, and I didn't know I was working for SV8 at that point, but I never thought I would feel more uneasy than I did that day, but I do.
Always wild to find out that a Russian double agent is a better American than any of us.
I was overseas when it happened.
I was in the woods.
Didn't even know about it until months later. It was quiet for weeks. No point in reminiscing in the past, though. You should get a move on.
I suppose the only way out is through, eh?
Always.
Fuck.
Not the only way, but it is the most efficient.
The sound of
Hey,
tires cuts the conversation short. And you look towards their location. One of the many avenues and streets that crisscross Times Square itself. You see what looks like a 1950s T-Bird. Two of them screech into the square and come to a halt almost directly in the path to Upper Manhattan that you were looking to take. The doors fly open and 6 men wearing trench coats and gas masks and rifles this time.
Oh, 6.
M1 Garand rifles to be exact.
Oh, fuck!
I immediately don't even hesitate. I just pull the pit on one of my fragmentation
Before
grenades.
you
And just...
can do that, I need everyone's dexterity because we're now going to enter combat. You hear again.
Yes.
The sound as the car's doors fling themselves open and that voice again. The same one you heard on the radios at the SV8 Black site. This time over the tannoy in Times Square itself. We'll take you to the combat now, and Desmond, with a dexterity of 14, you are first. You're in the middle of Times Square. There is just open ground between you and them.
I mean, I would say that's not the norm for Times Square, but times be as they are. And
Be cubed, yo.
we are kitted out with all our stuff. The second I see one of these gas-masked motherfuckers, there's no longer a decision-making process. There is simply the result of a reaction. And Desmond is firing his weapon before he's even realized he's aiming it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the 6 of them they're all just lined up, so you're just hitting the nearest one, I guess. That's. I mean,
Honestly,
they're all kind of equidistant.
Take your
so
pick, DM.
Okay.
That's dealer's choice.
Yeah. All right. I'll just let me decide. I'll roll a d6 to decide who to hit. Cool.
I do have a 20% bonus, given that I have not been hurt, and I do have a laser sighting.
Yes.
And I did roll a 19, which would technically make that a -1. I don't know how that works, but I would love to find out.
What it does is the 20% bonus gets added to your skill. It doesn't get added to the roll, so it makes it easier to get under the skill to pass.
Wow, that makes a lot more sense.
That's how all the bonuses work. Yeah. So they don't increase the possibility of you critting, but they do increase the possibility of you
buffer.
Passing.
It makes sense now.
All right. So yeah, I mean that's a hit. Roll damage.
Boy, oh boy, that's just a D12 flat. Unfortunately, no longer have a deagle. We'll have to figure out what it is. I'll look that up in my meantime. But that is going to be 4 points of ballistics damage.
It says you clip the guy in his upper left shoulder, and his whole body kind of reels back. See, yeah, that's fine.
And we are fully geared up at this point, I presume?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Excellent.
You'd have
behind a brick wall.
Yeah. Okay. You'd have been all kitted out before you left the FOB, so that's fine. Eliza, you are up next.
Seeing as one of them is almost down, and it's probably better to take them out completely, I'm going to shoot at the one who's already been injured.
Okay. Roll firearms.
Alrighty. Alrighty, that's great. So I rolled a 7.
Okay, yeah, that's a hit. Roll the damage.
That's gonna be a 6. 6 points of damage.
Yeah, I mean, you finished him off. He had 1 hit point left, so that's fine. Yeah, you take aim, and you didn't say it was burst, so I'm going to assume it was a single shot. So you stop.
Oh, yeah.
Take a breath, take aim, and as you exhale, you squeeze the trigger and zip this guy in the forehead. You see the gas mask smash as the bullet collides through the ocular pane on the mask itself, and he drops to the ground. Okay. Now, one of them is going to go. The one to that man's right adjusts the aim on his Garand and then levels it towards... Let's just do luck of the draw here.
Is it my turn in between the gas mask?
You thought?
Okay. So he takes aim at you, Eliza. He's going to make a firearms roll. Oh, sorry for a second. Forgot there. I've always had their stats up before, and now they're gone. There we go. The shot goes wide, bounces off the concrete just to your right. You do kind of note to yourself that was close. If you all stay out in the open like this, it's maybe a bad idea. Kane, it is now your turn.
Okay. While these guys are just, taking shots at these guys, picking off targets, I'm going to take a grenade and try to solve all of our problems in one fell swoop. and just pull the pin and chuck it at them.
Okay, you can hit the 3 on the left or the 2 on the right.
Oh, 3
Two.
on the left.
Okay.
Easy.
All right.
And that's the athletics for the throw, right?
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
Oh, that's a 33.
Oh!
That's a crit.
Under 52.
So it'd be the max damage on the grenade. What's the lethality rating on the grenade?
The lethality rating on the frag grenade is 15.
So a crit is going to catch. It's not under the lethality rating, but it is a crit, so it's going to catch all of them for all 3 of them for 6 points of damage each, as the shrapnel flies, and you see again the gas mask they're wearing, the lenses on the eye holes will shatter. Their coats are they're now covered with gore, their own gore. It doesn't seem to bother them. They continue to press forward. One of them now is going to return fire at you, Kane. He misses also. And the other one you hit is going to return fire. And he misses. Oof. Okay. The 2 now to your left. And he misses. You are all exceedingly lucky today. And the final one will take a shot at Desmond, who also misses an entire round of combat, and none of them hit any of you, which is stunning. But sometimes that's how it shakes out. All right, top of the round again then. They've all now advanced towards you. They're about maybe 20 feet from you. Desmond, you're up.
Desmond is absolutely kitted out in gear, and his instinct is to just bulk up behind his shield, and doing some quick risk calculation in his head, Desmond is just going to provide covering fire, sort of firing at whoever's closest as he positions himself in front of Eliza.
Okay, so with covering fire, there's rules for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can opt to provide covering fire, and you roll your firearms check, and then it's just a straight pass or not. And if you pass, in the area of effect for like as long as like I've got to make the judgment call, and I'd argue maybe if you spray, it would be the same as a burst. So you'd expend the same amount of ammunition, and I'm gonna say 2 of them if you want to get 2 of them next to each other. And if you pass your firearms check, it forces them on their next turn to go into cover. They can't take any other action.
Well, yeah, Desmond absolutely. His prime objective is making sure that Kane and Eliza survive. So I would like to provide covering fire on 2 of those motherfuckers with the rifles, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I would like to just start blasting away at them as I position my shield in between Eliza and the heavy ordnance. I know that she is a heavy hitter. I just need to make sure that she can do what she needs to do.
Okay, I mean the 2 on the right that haven't been hit yet, they're grouped quite close enough together for that. So if you want to go ahead and make a firearms check, you can make them run for cover.
Okay, and with my buffer, now that I've learned how this works, increasing my pass check to a 60, I succeed with a 47.
Okay, just roll the damage. These enemies, these particular enemies have no regard for their own safety,
yes.
So they don't respond to cover fire.
Right, that makes sense. In that case, I'll just shoot a motherfucker for 9 points of damage.
9.
9, alright. Eliza, you're up.
Fun. You know what else looks fun? Using unarmed combat. That looks really fun. But Desmond was super nice to me. Desmond was super nice to me and is...
Desmond gives you a nod.
Okay.
As if that's what he wanted.
All right. It looks super, super fun. So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna use my brass knuckles, and I'm gonna punch one of them. Mark, I wanna punch one of them.
Which one? There's 3 that were blown up by the grenade, or one of the 2 that were judoed by Poe?
So I'm really assuming right now, but I'm assuming that Kane is gonna throw another grenade, and I probably don't want to be right in the spot where he's gonna throw the grenade. Yes, I did get a crit. I got a 44 under over 100. So.
And what's the unarmed damage with the brass knuckles?
I believe it's a D4.
Okay, so it's just a full 4 then. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I'll take the guy who looks more heavily injured.
Not a problem. You sprint at him, and as he sits up, essentially launch into an MMA style Superman punch with the brass knuckles, and your fist, just the entire gas mask crumples around your fist as it enters his face at quite the velocity. He slumps down dead. Okay.
I would love to stare menacingly at the other guy who's on the floor. He's next.
One of the men with the rifles that was caught in the grenade blast now turns towards you, Corporal Kane, with his Garand in hand. And he hasn't moved, so he's going to take aim, and he fires. That's a hit. And that is
attempt to dodge.
Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. Ooh, what's that? That's a 13 under 36.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I thought I misread that.
Yeah, that's fine. So, so if they roll firearms and hit, and then you attempt to dodge, you do have to spend your next... It's the same as like the cover fire rules, but in reverse. So your next action is now taken... Like, you don't get your next turn, basically, because you've used it to sort of dodge out of the way.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. And it was your turn, so one of the others will then... Kane, you've got an option, actually. You can run... does everybody know in Times Square that large red stand thing that people can sit on that kind of goes up? You could choose to take cover behind that, or by a nearby... like a small van, business van by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'll do the van, just because I know that's probably closer to cover.
Okay, you've now picked some cover out. That's fine. So you'll get a bonus, or they'll have a penalty to their firearms checks. And two of them shoot after you as you run towards said van. A miss and another miss. Oh, they're all rolling really, really high today. It's ridiculous. The last one that's with you, Eliza, sits up and pulls a jackknife out from the inside of his coat and takes like a wild swing at you. Bloody hell! And he also misses. That's okay.
That.
Yeah, they're all. None of them have rolled under like 70 so far. It's ridiculous. That is the round, and Desmond, you're up.
Desmond, after flinching out of the way to let Eliza unleash a bout of martial fury, he sees the danger that she puts herself in, and he quickly holsters his Desert Eagle as he draws a hatchet, and he just charges towards the man who attacked Eliza, and he is just going to slam into him and barrel him to the floor.
Okay. Roll. What? Just slam into him with your body, or you're attacking him with a hatchet?
I mean, if the hatchet is a natural follow-up, I'd absolutely go for that. My main goal is to get this man away from Eliza with a knife.
Okay, yeah, he didn't really he sat up, pulled the knife out, and just swung. He's still sitting on the ground, so you can run at him with a hatchet and just swing for his face. Or whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, in that case, for flavor, I'd love to just run up and just full force smack him with the bottom half of the riot shield against his jaw.
Lovely. Roll melee combat then, please.
Oh boy, would I love to. That's a success with a 70.
Just roll your hatchet damage. We'll say the shield was for flavor. That's fine.
That's a d6. Actually, I did check it earlier. I have to make sure I get it right. Okay, it is. That's gonna be 4 points of damage. 4 points of steel damage to the jaw.
Yeah, as he just through force more than anything, his whole head just rocked back. You hear a crunch from kind of the back of his neck.
Excellent. I'm just gonna sort of put my foot on his stomach and end my turn there.
All right, Eliza, you're up.
Okay. So I know that with the garrote you have to use surprise, but they don't have any regard for themselves, right? So can I use it? Or would I still need to sneak around and
Yeah, it still doesn't really work in the. They'll still try and fight you off physically.
Yeah,
to get into
right.
close range with them. Yeah, they're not gonna not do that.
Okay. Well, then that might be too complicated. I might just settle for shooting one of them, I guess.
Okay. Roll fire.
As unfortunate as that is.
That's fine.
So yeah, Eliza will pull out her pistol. I want to make a cold shot. I want to try to shoot one of them in the head. Just like I did to Barbara. That was her name, right? Her name was Barbara.
Yes. Roll
okay.
Roll firearms with a 20% penalty then.
All right. So with a 20% penalty, my firearms would be a 60, but I rolled a 35, so.
Okay. And then that's a hit. Roll the damage.
All right. Unfortunately, only 4 points of damage, but we're getting somewhere.
That is enough to finish that particular person off as you take a shot on the bullet. Just the front the air filter on the mask just evaporates into a leather mess. All right, it's dead. 2 left. Corporal Kane, you're up.
Wonderful. I am from my position. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a shot at one of the last remaining few of them.
Okay. Roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use my Ranger Blackout rifle. I love that thing.
Roll.
I'm going to eviscerate this man's head. There's my firearms. Cool. That's a 17.
Certainly hits.
62.
Yeah. Roll that damage.
Then it's a D12. Where's my D12 at? Where are you at? Somewhere around here. There you are. Cool. That's going to be a 12.
Yeah, he's just the 300 blackout just turns this man into mist.
Kane got mad real quick.
Okay, and the one remaining soldier then tries to return fire at you, Kane, the one remaining attacker. He was still, that's a 20, that's a hit.
Is that including the cover?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He actually rolled real low. It was a surprise.
Awesome.
9 points of damage as the round.
Oh, shit.
Remember to reduce that by whatever your body armor rating is.
Yeah, that's a solid hit still.
And the round just punches through your side, and the armor takes a lot of the kinetic force away. But that still sucks, like someone's stabbed you. It's at this point you look around and you're thinking, where the f is Renko? And Renko is over by one of he's sort of circumnavigated the battle, and you see him he's in the driver's seat of one of the T-birds, but he's like underneath it doing something. And Desmond, it's now your turn.
You said there's already one guy left?
Yeah, there's one guy left.
Well, you know what we're doing. I'm gonna move towards him and give him a little bit of that deforestation experience.
Alright.
He's walking to him in the JoJo pose.
Yeah, it's just clank, clank, clank.
Roll melee combat.
28. I mean, it's golden.
Lovely. Roll the damage.
Again, that casual number of 4, the death number.
The axe makes contact, and it's kind of flesh, and then muscle, and then something harder, bone, and a crunch, as your hatchet makes contact with his spine and switches off his brain. You are now removed from combat, and you hear more tires, this time behind you. You look off down towards the distance you've already covered and can see some more 50s era vehicles headed up towards you, just ramming things out of the way, rubbish going flying. Some of the 1950s cars actually colliding with other cars on the street and wreckage. But more cars seem to appear from the avenues that crisscross these streets and replace them almost.
Desmond.
We still have the other 2 cars just sitting there, right?
Desmond, grab Kane, drag him to the car. I'm driving. Let's go. We're moving.
I can still walk.
Almost.
Let's go.
The moment you
drag
say
Kane.
that, you hear the engine of the vehicle that Renko was sat behind roar to life. And he turns to you, Eliza. You driving?
Yes.
He moves over to the passenger seat, and those things have got huge, big bench seats in the back that you can all pile into. As 4 vehicles now, all black, big Model T looking vehicles, are closing the distance. Eliza, can you make a drive check to successfully pull away?
Yeah.
I do. And are there any, like, sort of smaller back streets I can go off onto? Because I want the cars behind me to be single file.
You could do that. It's going to take you a little longer to get to Club Chambers, which is a straight shot. But
Eliza knows best.
You can do that.
Listen. Steven can wait for me, alright? He's been waiting 9 months. He can wait like 30 more minutes. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go try to find some I'm sort of looking for a thin back street where if they blow up another car, the cars behind us will get stuck, you know? That's my brain. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So you made the drive check, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. All right. Would you believe that that is an 11 under 70?
I would. I'll believe it.
It is.
I'm going to say not only do you manage a particularly difficult hairpin turn in a huge 1950s vehicle that weighs, 3 times what any car would weigh today, but when the now 3 pursuing vehicles try to follow you, one of them just spins out and collides into the front facade of a Starbucks.
Renko, you tuned this car up so well. Thank you so much.
Let me just roll for driving into the front store of a coffee shop damage real quick. I'm sure that's in the book.
So Eliza, to lose them, because this is a crit, I'm gonna, as well as losing the vehicle, what you do is you hairpin turn, and as you're approaching Central Park, you find the right angle and a particularly run-down looking part of the fence that divides Central Park, and realizing that you're driving a battering ram, you smash straight through it, and you're now careening through the middle of Central Park itself.
I've always wanted to do this.
One of the 2 remaining vehicles does not have the same level of driving skill to follow you into Central Park, so you are now being chased by 1 vehicle. You pass the big reservoir there, the lake, and emerge from the other side into Harlem. You're close to Club Chambers now. You just need to shake this one last pursuer. Desmond, you're up. Silenced.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. What I was saying is there is only one last pursuer, but I do have a whole magazine full of bullets, as it were. That's gonna piss some people off. I'm going to just fire another heavy round at a tire. The called shot worked well before. We're gonna give it another shot.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, as far as Desmond is concerned, the less of these guys we kill, the better. Hold on. I assume this is with the previous penalty?
Yes, all the same rules apply.
In that case, I will just barely miss. I believe that's a... Indeed it is. It is a 45 over 44.
Bad luck. Yeah, you take aim to try and do the same thing again, but as the round goes off, Eliza jumps the vehicle out of Central Park and back onto the road, and the shot goes wide as you peel away, and you lose them all together. So we'll come out of combat now. At this point, the vehicle's not too far away from Club Chambers. You notice as you approach, all the streets have been in disarray. Lots of buildings are shuttered, even boarded up. There's two well-dressed, big, broad-shouldered gentlemen in suits standing outside. If you were to, as an onlooker, it looks bizarre because everything else is in a rather dilapidated condition at this point. But you wouldn't think anything was wrong looking at this building. You wouldn't think anything was going on at all. They appear to be business as usual. Big, bold letters in Art Deco font outside say Club Chamber. You approach the front. The 2 broad-shouldered men in suits look up and they take you in for a moment and they press a finger to one of their earpieces and then just one of them just nods towards you, Desmond, or all of you. Go on inside. You head up the gaudy marble staircase and through the brass and glass front double doors into what appears to be a pretty heaving nightclub. Everyone inside seemingly indifferent to the chaos that surrounds them on the outside. There's something off about this place. The revelers dance, and in the center of the room, a grand piano. A man in a red suit. Silk. Familiar posture. Plays the piano with quite an admirable degree of skill. You look across some of the security staff, they turn to you and then they gesture to the man sat at the grand piano. He is currently mid-song as you approach him. He stops. Sits up and turns. All this. I am glad you could make it. Manhattan is, well, it's less tourist friendly than it used to be. Please, take a seat. And there are 2 circular tables with enough seating for all of you. Right next to where the grand piano is, seemingly the entire club is built around this centerpiece. Mrs. Bishop, or is that Miss these days? I'm not sure.
Whichever you prefer.
I think you know the answer to that. And he raises his hand in the air and just clicks. Draws your attention to... There are 2 large objects covered by velvet drapes off to the back of the room. On pedestals, those velvet drapes fall away to reveal cages. 2 figures, 1 in each cage. One you all recognise as Ophelia Citri. She is bound within the cage and does not look happy to be there. The other, only one of you recognise, is the father of your child and the man you walked down the aisle, Eliza. Your husband.
Well, this is fucked up, even for you, Steven. So I'm impressed that every time we meet, you seem to do something even worse. than the last time.
I am one half of an equation.
Okay.
I've spoken to you about balance before. I've struggled since I was a boy with my place in the universe. Told since I was an infant that I am the equal and opposite reaction to forces in the universe that would most people would rather avoid. You know such a force as the King in Yellow. As he grows more powerful, so do I. I'm to understand that my role was to counteract him. But it's not a role I have any taste for. And so, I do as I wish. As I have done. For most of my lifetime. Now, with the world as it is these days, the influence of the king stronger than it ever has been, has rendered me able to free myself from certain influences, such as her, and he looks towards Ophelia.
Okay. So then there's no reason for her to be here.
I don't let slights go unpunished. Tell me, do you believe in demons?
I do.
But they're nonsense.
Are they? I happen to think I know a couple.
The metaphorical type, or are you being literal?
Well, I was able to talk to Miss Ophelia there, and I think I'm able to talk to a couple others, and if she's not a demon, then I'm not sure what is.
I don't think you grasp how this works, do you?
No, I don't. And that's why when she demanded a name, I gave her yours. Because I thought that you'd know what to do about it. I could have given her anyone else's name, but I gave her your name because I thought you'd know how to deal with it.
His influence is an interesting thing. There's no untruth that he cannot make a reality. I believe you're familiar with a gentleman by the name of Ed Miller Wist.
I am, and I hope to be unfamiliar with him very soon.
He, for most of his teenage and young adult years, had a unhealthy obsession with demonology.
Okay.
Then the king found him. Breathed life into that obsession. Do you understand what it is I am telling you?
Will I end up like him if I keep talking to them?
No, I am... You listen, but you don't understand.
I'm sorry, sometimes it's difficult.
His influence makes things that are fiction a reality.
Okay.
In this case, Mr. Wist's obsession with demons became reality.
Now I see.
So you are correct, in a manner of speaking. Demons are real, at least they are now. I enjoy the level of power that has been granted to me, but there is no use being the king of a dumpster fire.
All right. So, for once, don't speak in riddles and just tell me exactly what you want. What do you want from us? What will you give us?
First, and he reaches on to the top of the grand piano and takes there's a revolver on there. Hands it to you. Pick one.
You... You want me to kill one of them?
The way forward will remain obscure until you make your choice.
What happens? No choice is also a choice. What happens if I choose not to shoot either of them?
Then we sit here and watch the world atrophy.
Okay. What happens if I choose to shoot both of them?
That isn't a choice. Please, make your decision. The world is rotting.
It's a difficult choice.
Is it?
It is.
Why?
Because my family is already dead. As soon as this life started leaking in to my life, my family was already dead. And so I already had to let them go. And now you're giving me the choice to tear someone apart who tore my family apart. But It doesn't even matter anymore because there's nothing I can do to save them. I couldn't save them if I wanted to. And so in that regard, it would be better just to let them go.
Then choose.
Okay. Eliza is going to level the gun. She's going to take it. She's going to hold it towards the cages. And then she's going to turn it to Steven and just make a mock fire at him. And then she chuckles a little. Just kidding. That wouldn't work anyway. And she's going to take a step forward. And she is going to shoot her husband.
It's a stationary target chained inside a cage. There's no firearms roll required. As the round collides with his chest, he hits the ground of the cage and bleeds out. Well done. Now, if I could turn your attention to across the street. He leads a group of you out to the marble staircase that you entered the club. Lining the street on your left and right, those gas mask trench coat men, but they're no longer pursuing you. They stand at attention. A whole crowd of them to the left and to the right, blocking the street off, and directly across the road, another building, Art Deco, very well maintained, emblazoned in brass above the door. Hotel Broadalbin.